All right, welcome back to Week 11 of the Steel Show, Yote fans. Huge game by the Yotes, Frontier Conference champs. You know, we clinched the first outright title in school history, at least since we've been in the Frontier, and bring back football. You know, great crowd, unbelievable turnout, huge. At first, I guess, comment on that about the energy of the crowd. And for me personally, I felt like, especially during the second half when the defense was making stops and the crowd was making noise on third downs, maybe the loudest that we've ever been. So just talk about
the
crowd.
It was great, and I could tell that the community was amped and ready and knew the height of the importance of the game, and people are football knowledgeable around here. It's one of the great things about Caldwell and the Boise Valley is people love football, and meaning they know what's going on, they know what's on the line, and it was a great atmosphere. I was thrilled, and hopefully we can keep that up, because that's one of the special things about college Idaho football.
Yep. We're right on the cusp of leading the country in attendance, so hopefully we can get over the hump there in these next couple of games. But wanted to ask you about, you know, responding to adversities. A couple weeks in a row where it's been a little bit of a slow start, but Yotes come out charging in the second half and really take the game over. So just talk about the character of the team lately.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, people talk about the stats in the third quarter, and obviously the defense is doing a great job in the third quarter, and I mean, very, very few points are given up. But I do think it's more than that. I mean, it obviously includes that, but the bigger idea is that we've grown up a little bit over the years, and it goes back, the adversity that we've been through, or losing games, and it's hard to lose, and it's hard to win, you know, hard to lose emotionally and hard to win, and these teams are good. Gosh darn, Western is a very, very good team. Their quarterback's the real deal, their defense is the real deal, they're big, they're strong, they're talented,
and fast a receiver.
So I'm not sure we were flat, but we certainly weren't executing at the highest level, and we have to address that in some way. Maybe we can talk about that later. But I was thrilled. The opening drive to get points, and you never know how a football game's going to go. It's a crazy game. There's an ebb and flow, and you kind of got to roll with it, or at least I feel like as the coach I have to, because you have to manage the ups and downs so that you can get it straight. And so I think Dom Garzoli's terrible injury, I think that has an effect on some guys. It's makes people sick to their stomach kind of to see that sort of injury to his arm, which was kind of a freak deal as the film showed. But anyway, Dom's doing great, by the way, had surgery, and he's going to be 100% sooner than later. But we really needed halftime. You know, we did get a couple great stops in the second quarter to held them to field goals. And then we drove down another great 2-minute drive, and Kyle banged it through. So 2010, I was feeling good. I must admit I was concerned, but I was glad we were going to have a chance to settle down. People said, "Did you really yell at the team, coach?" And I said, "Not really. The team doesn't need to be yelled at. They know what's going on. We just need to settle down." We needed to settle down. We did make some great adjustments. Coach Jewell and Coach Kao, they came out and played a bunch of man. We locked them down, a little bit of pressure, but really put it on the secondary guys, and they were lights out coverage-wise. And that's Jordan Nero's first start, significant playing time at the Rover, played great. Ellsbury, of course, had the pick six. Dorian Harden has played fantastic as a true freshman. We were missing Tayson, so he's arguably is our most valuable player till now, but missed the game. Tristan Alisi was moving all around. David Ford was moving all around, and Isaiah Abdul's playing fantastic. So hats off to those guys, and the coaches really for calming the guys down on both sides of the ball. We came out, we knew what we had to do, and we really, really played a great second half.
Absolutely. And so what changed in the second half when you talk about it? Was there energy, or was, like you said, some adjustments, or what was the kind of the main thing that you think about?
Well, I think the main thing was we always narrow things down. The game plan's not overly big, offensively speaking now, but we always are able to pare it down. You know, what do we know for sure is good against these guys? Because teams come in and play us a little different. These guys played us a lot like Montana Tech did. Played a lot of more single safety, which gives them another guy to put in the box to stop the run. And then obviously they felt like they could cover man-to-man. So we always are going to take shots. And they mixed it up a little bit too, but then we had to address that extra guy in the box. We had a few plays that we knew we could get to, and that's kind of what we did, and that settled down the team. Obviously we needed to settle Darius down too, and he's grown up so much, and I think I said the same thing last week, but it's always hard to come back from 2 picks, you know, that are kind of, he'd be the first to admit, they were kind of his fault. But that's welcome to being a quarterback.
Yep.
You know, you have to move on to the next play, and he was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he, so I think it was the calming influence, and maybe that's what, there's one thing that I despise as a coach, or I fear as a coach, is if our team gets wigged out, so to speak, if they just get out of sorts and start trying to do too much.
All you can do is really
is
play the next play, which is what you guys have,
exactly.
as a fan, seem that you guys have done a great job of, especially the last 2 weeks. You know, at Eastern, they get the big, 95-yard touchdown pass,
right.
and you guys just come out and play the next play, and everything's fine.
But Broch, you know that's hard to do
yes.
sometimes because it's an emotional, passionate game. We have the other part of my job is to manage the emotional pitch of the team.
Manage the momentum.
And in a game like this, momentum, emotional passion is everything. You remember my old saying, got to be on the edge, but not over the edge. You still have to be in control, have composure, and that was the impressive thing. Offense, defense, and we made some plays too, but I'm not sure you make those plays if you're over the top, you know. So that's the thing. Hats off to Montana Western. They had a great plan. They played a great first half, and we were able to keep it from being 28-10, fortunately. And then we made some plays. So it was a great football game, in my opinion. It's just going to happen sometimes, and we do have to address. We need to start better. And
so what do you have to do to get a better start, you think?
You know, I don't know, because we went right down the field and scored. But I think it's just maintaining our composure, and you do have to have a killer instinct. You do have to have, you know, the precision and steely eyes of an assassin. Pardon it's not the best metaphor, but we got a serious job to do, and it's one play at a time. But you know, the double teams are important, and our double teams weren't particularly good in the first half, and they got better in the second half. So it was really awesome that our focus was just a little bit better, and that's what we have to do. That's what we're. Montana State Northern's a good team. We got to be focused to play them, and it'll give us a good opportunity to implement greater focus in the first half.
Yes, sir. And then one thing I was hoping to have you touch on was just to play the special teams. Obviously, Kyle Mitchell's been fantastic all year, 5 for 5 on PATs, hits the 41-yarder at the end of the half. And then, you know, Canyon Olsen forces a big fumble to start the second half and get you guys the ball deep in their territory. Coverage units have been really, really good all year, and we've touched on the special teams, but just seems like this is the best that you guys have had on those units. So
definitely that, and we think we could be better. We thought we were a little bit under par. Remember, they had a longish punt return that got them in position for, and their returners were really good. We got a lot of young guys playing on special teams, but very, very athletic and capable of being dominant on special teams, but we haven't quite been there. So the Canyons play, you know, might just be that. We've talked a number of times about the one play that turns the game, and that kind of did it. And because we were able to move it in 3 plays later, and
whole new game,
and then a whole new feel and all that. So it just kind of, you know, verified what we were trying to get done at halftime and regaining our composure. It was just a great strip and recovery by Dylan Martinez. So those guys can run, but everybody's pretty good in the Frontier Conference.
Absolutely.
Montana Western doesn't do a lot, but what they do extremely well on special teams, on offense, and on defense. So we just made a few more plays in the second half, and it was awesome. Absolutely.
And then I guess my last question is, now we're on the stretch run. You guys have locked up a berth in the playoffs. What do you want to see from your team in this stretch run? Just as from a character standpoint, execution, just what do you want, the type of brand of football you want the Yotes to play?
Well, it's all there for us. I mean, I tell the team all the time that you guys have you know, every game gets more and more exciting, and there's some exciting games ahead, but we got to focus on this one and seize the day. I mean, you know, it's everything. This is it. We have to keep making strides. That's my biggest thing. Just like we've done in the previous 2 years.
Yep.
Of course, we had losing records midway through the season, but we got better and better and better. That's going to be the message, has been the message to the team. It's hard to win on the Frontier Conference. It'll be hard to win in the playoffs. It's going to be hard to win against Montana State Northern. They're the most improved team in the conference, and schematically they are light years ahead of where they were last year. We got to focus on us, though.
Yep.
We got to get better. We got to be more precise. We got to be more sophisticated in our discipline, if you know what I mean. We got to, you can't be thinking about all these things out here, but it's one play at a time, and getting the details of those plays is what I'm really interested in.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Well, thank you, Yotes fans, for tuning in to Week 11 of the Steel Show. Let's get out to Simplot Stadium and support these guys on Senior Day. Probably the winningest class in C of I football history. Certainly most successful over the last few years. A number of these guys have meant so much to the program, so let's get out on Senior Day and support these guys. Hopefully watch the Yotes, finish the job to run the table in the Frontier Conference and move on to the playoffs. So, Coach, thanks for your time.
Fantastic group of seniors. Yeah, come out and see those guys.
Awesome.
Thanks, Brock.
Thank you, guys. All right, Yo fans, want to give you guys a little bit of a recap of what happened around the league in the Frontier Conference this week. Big upset. The first one to start off with is Carroll over Montana Tech. That was a huge game for the league because I think Tech was knocking on the door at number 17 to get a playoff berth if they could have won out and finished 8-2 in the conference. They are now, probably on the outside looking in of the playoff picture. EOU beats Rocky on the road 27-17. SOU over Northern on the road, so really long trip for SOU, probably 20-hour bus ride. They go all the way up to Havre, Montana and get a win 27-19 over Montana State Northern. And then obviously C of I gets the conference clinching win 38-27 over Western. As the standings sit right now, C of I 9-0, Carroll, Tech, and Western all coming in at 6-3. SOU at 4-5. EOU at 3-6 now, with Rocky at 2-7, and Northern rounding out the standings at 0-9. C of I stays at number 6 in the rankings this week. We'll see what the seeding happens after this final week before the NAI playoffs. Carroll moves into the top 25 at number 2. Western and Tech both fall out of the top 25. So again, maybe Carroll has an outside chance to get in if they can get a win this week to end the season. But as it sits right now, the Frontier Conference looking like they're only going to get one team in, the C of I Yotes. So we'll continue to fill you guys in as the final standings of the Frontier Conference ends this week, and then kind of lay out the playoff bracket for you guys so you can know the road that C of I has to hopefully get to Louisiana in the national championship game. So we'll see you guys next week, and go Yotes.